Well, hello, all you fine feathered friends, countrymen. Lend me your ear. What's up, everybody? It's Jake Johnson, and this is Untethered Live on a Wednesday night, I think, something like that. Hey, it's a ChillStream. Me and my old guitar, 3 chords, and the truth. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. Whatever you want. You call it out, we'll do it. And, apparently I need help. So, help. I take suggestions by text. One day I'll set up a panel. We'll bring some people on and let them do their thing. Teach me all about the business. You know how it is. Tonight's episode is brought to you by this hot cup of coffee and the letter H and the number 4.5. How's everybody doing tonight? Having a good night? I hope so. It's a good night here. Had a good long day's work. Got some grocery shopping done. Thank you, Lisa Reen. And I got home, got the cats fed, and jumped on the podcast. Ice water. Lisa Reen says, ice water. That's as strong as I've got available, but I'm ready. Let's go. I hear you. Fab Daddy gets the gold star. He was here first, waiting on us. Chilling out. I keep hearing things. I have to get my pistol out. All right. Sorry, I'm just reading through the chat. A lot of chatting going on before the show. How's everybody doing? You guys having a good time? Hello. Is this thing on? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Unlike Friday night, where I was full piss and vinegar and attitude. Tonight, I don't have a lot to talk about. So, whatever you guys want to talk about, that's what we're going to talk about. So you set it up, and I'll knock it down. Caucasian, what's up, buddy? Your night's functional. I hear you. What you been doing, Caucasian? Anything interesting on your channel this week, last week? We hadn't spoke a lot this month. We need to fix that. We need to get together and shoot the breeze and catch up. I'm cooking. I'll be back in a minute. You just go on and cook then. I'll be here when you get back. I came that close to getting that bad cat. That will soon be dead cat. But I keep missing. Because it's fast. It knows I'm after it. And it's a fast little cat. Every time I run out the door, he's gone. So, eventually I'll get it. I got a pole about this long. I throw at it. I'm not going to shoot it. That's unfair. That's unfair and it's mean. But if I ever catch it, I'm going to hurt it. Not a good cat. No character. But I almost got it today. That close. He's just too fast. It reminds me of Sylvester the cat. And I'm Tom. Tom and Jerry. You guys remember that? It's one of those situations. I'm forever trying to trap him up, and he's forever getting away from me. It's kind of the other way around in the cartoon, but still, same principle. Why do I want to hurt it? Because it had babies and then it abandoned them. And it's not good. And then it's more than that. Then I tried to get it to come back to the baby, and it would just sit there and stare at it. And all the other cats would snip at it. And so I tried to feed it, and it wouldn't eat because I didn't have the proper stuff to feed it. And I had to sit there and watch it die. And I wasn't very nice. All I had to do was latch to his mother, and it would have been fine. But there's plenty of other cats around here, and they all survived. So there's no reason why this one had to abandon its kittens. I don't like that kind of thing. Kevin says, where's April? Hello, April. I don't see April yet. Hey, Kev. Good to see you, buddy. Margie, good to see you. I'm having one of those moments. Put an AT&T logo on it, and I'll fly down and take care of it with extreme prejudice. Freaking useless phone. I hear you. Your phone and my cat, huh? If the walls could talk. Jake, did you get an awesome video? Did you get my awesome video? No, sir. My phone's off at the moment. I got a notice saying that I got a message, but I couldn't open it. So you have to email it to me. Send it to my email address. I'll get it. You too, Jake. Thank you. What am I to? Hashtag you too? What are we talking about? I kind of sing. Yeah, I'd like to hear it. Send it on to my email address, and I'll check it out after the show. And if it's good, I'll post it Friday. Like, hello. Like, for sure. So, this little thing that's been going on with me that I originally thought was a heart attack, turns out it's not my heart, but I don't know what it is. I know it's not my heart because it's been happening every night for the past month, and now it's happening 3 times a day, and it's actually currently happening as we speak, which is why I'm a little quiet. I apologize. I'm dealing with a lot right now. But what causes all the symptoms of a heart attack but isn't a heart attack? Because if it were a heart attack, I'd be dead by now. You can't have that many heart attacks. Every time you have a heart attack, a piece of your heart stops working. There's only so many times that can happen. So that's not it. My sister seems to think it's my gallbladder, that I have gallstones that are getting into my bile duct and wreaking havoc. I don't think so, because the pain is right here. And it's severe, like being pierced with a javelin. And it's tight. And it radiates down my arm and into my jaw and my neck. And then it goes away in about an hour. And there's no repercussions. No soreness, no weakness. It's like it never happened. Just intense, searing pain, pressure, and then it goes away. Anybody got an idea? I'm so furious about it. Ripple effect of hell because it refused to work. Oh, I don't know. As a phone, I hate random half-assed things. Yeah, you need to break down and get you one of those dollar store smartphones, man. prepaid. They work just fine. And you don't have to sign a contract or nothing. It's like $60 a month. Syncope, high blood pressure, heart arrhythmia, a lot. Well, it could be a heart arrhythmia. I was thinking AFib, like I might be going into AFib, but my pulse is steady throughout the whole thing. It never gets too fast, nothing like that. Never beats real hard. It's just steady. I just have to breathe through it, and it's like almost like a contraction. It comes on real intense and then it lets off about an hour later. And then it comes back. It didn't used to do that. I used to have it like once every 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Then it was once a week. And now it's once a night. And then since yesterday, it's been 3 times yesterday and 3 times today. So it's increasing. That's worrying. I have to go see somebody about it, apparently. I was hoping it'd go away. Hi, Jake, says Fab Daddy. Hey, Fab Daddy. What's up, buddy? Lisa Reen says stress. Well, I'm not under any stress, I don't think. But that's the thing about stress, though. You really don't know. And I don't think it's a panic attack because panic attacks come with, like, panic. And I'm not panicky. So I don't think that's it. And it's certainly not a stroke because, my mouth isn't drooping. And I can speak. So those are all good thoughts, but not what it is. Hang on real quick. Sports update with Kevin Cox. Tuesday at midnight ended the trade deadlines for baseball before the playoffs begin. The Rays made no trades, but many other teams did. Time for some good old baseball. Thank you, Kev. Back to you, Bob. MVTV says, there's referred pain as well that will throw you off, but sure is classic heart symptoms. I mean, it really does feel like a heart attack, but it apparently isn't. You'd think that if you're having a heart attack, your heart would skip a beat or stop or something. Steady. So I've been paying real close attention to that, checking my pulse throughout the whole thing, feeling my chest, see if it matches the pulse. Just beating. I don't think it's aware of the pain that I'm in, And as far as stress, Lisa Reen, I'm under stress right now because I'm in intense pain. But that'll go away. That's stressful. But the rest of it, or the worrying about what it could be is stressful. But I don't have anxiety or anything like that I'm aware of. It may be something underlying that I'm not conscious of, but I don't think so. I'm just having an issue. And it's kind of scary. But yeah, referred pain, I also considered that I might have a pinched nerve in my neck because the pain starts in my neck, but then soon jumps to right here, which is above my chest muscle, but below my collarbone, like in that little hollow spot. That's where the pain is. Specific. Sometimes if I press hard enough, it'll ease it off. It's like that whole muscle spasms, right? Could it be just muscle spasms? Am I just like spazzing out over here? Could that be it? I don't know. Could be vascular contractions where the nerves and some vessels will crimp up. Yeah, I also considered I might have like a blockage in my aorta or something, and it might be moving a little bit. That might be what I'm feeling. Yeah, I don't know. I got to have somebody actually go in there and look, get an MRI or something. Not an MRI, but like I forget what you call it. You put the little leads all over you. EEG, that's what it is. Sorry, Jake, no deals made for you. What are you talking about? What deal? I'm not trying to make a deal. I don't understand. I just watched another guitarist. Music is awesome. Excellent. Well, thank you. What are you getting at? You're very contrary this afternoon, aren't you, Fab Daddy? Did I upset you last night or the other night? Temp says a new phone is useless too, as the system in which you contact are useless fools. Well, that's true. You can't get around that. Put a finger on a cardiac. Put a finger on a carotid, what artery when it happens, and note if the rhythm is off. Did you get cardiac enzymes drawn? Not yet. I'm going to, though. I'm going to go see a doctor this week, I think, because it's getting worse. So I definitely, I told you if it changed, I would go have somebody see it, and it's changing. So that's what's going to happen. Fab Daddy says, I am number 2. Like it costs nothing, peoples. Fab Daddy, what are we talking about? You're number 2 like a pencil or like a not number 1? Why do you say it turned out not to be your heart? What are you basing that on? I just said what I'm basing it on. I said it's not a heart attack. I thought it was a heart attack for a while, but then I started paying attention to my heart. The heart doesn't seem to be aware of anything going on. It's beating like it always does. My pulse is regular. It's not stressed or overbeating. None of that. Not skipping a beat. It's steady. And when I match it to the beat that I can feel in my chest, it's the same. So it's not like fluttering or anything. So I'm not sure how AFib works, but I obviously can't tell a difference. It feels like it always does. So that's why I'm saying it's not my heart attack. I didn't say it wasn't my heart. I said it's not a heart attack. Fab Daddy says, hit the like or be a square. Thank you, Fab Daddy. L7 is square. Nope. 2 L's are square, but a 7 has a crooked leg, so it can't be square. It's a 45-degree angle. You may have an artery that needs clearing out. Yeah, I considered that. Blood flow constricts, heart is undersupplied and gets the symptoms. I thought you went to a doctor. I advise stopping this stream and going now. Well, I'm not very panicky or quick to make rash decisions, so that's not going to happen, but I appreciate the thought. And I told you that if it changed, I would go to the doctor, which I did say that, and I will, because it has changed. Fab Daddy says, LOL. I appreciate Jake and 5 minutes behind the chat. Am I? Well, I'm taking time to stop and answer questions, so that's why I'm behind. I will be praying for you as I am now. Thank you, Lisa Reen. I appreciate that. I could use all of that I can get my hands on. And likewise, I pray for you too. Fab Daddy says, the moon is full. You might be part werewolf. No lycanthropy here. I don't even grow a good beard. So, I just look like a hobo. No matter how long I let it grow. You are the full moon wolf. An EKG, cardiac enzymes, and EKG and cardiac enzymes will tell you, damn, in 10 minutes, CEs are sent out by the heart when it is being damaged and will tell you instantly. I'm aware of that. And that's what I'm going to go do this week. You upset me every time we converse. Really? That's why I like you. Well, I'm not trying to upset you, Fab Daddy. I'm just who I am. I love you nonetheless. Sorry you get upset. MVTV says, and recall, if it is a clogged artery, you can get that fixed like day surgery and walk out in a few hours. Yeah, I'm hoping. With better plumbing than a 20-year-old. That'd be nice. I'd like to have my energy back. LOL, says Fab Daddy. I appreciate Jake. It's 5 minutes behind the chat. I read that one already. CARAATID, artery. I know what carotid means. I just can't read sometimes. One of the big ones on the side of your neck. Yep, that one. Feel your pulse so you know. Then do it when it happens. I have been. Feel for changes. I have been. And like I said, it's a steady heartbeat. There's no, my heart doesn't seem to be aware that I'm in so much pain. And see, it just passed. Just like that, it went away. And now I feel fine. And in 30 minutes or so, I'll be again. So that one didn't last very long. That started when I started the podcast. About 5 minutes before I started feeling the tension. And then as I started talking, it got worse. So that's how long that one lasted. That's what I consider an attack. You know, it started, I went through it, it stopped, and now I'm fine. So you tell me, does that sound like heart? ATL says, there are other conditions that can cause chest pain. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not jumping to conclusions, because I don't have any clue what it could be. It may very well be my gallbladder. It may also be gas. That's why I started taking these today. And these. And those. And those. And whatever that is. And a lot of this. Mm-hmm. No, 17 is square. No, it's not. You can't make a 7 make a square. It has a 45-degree angle. The 1 is straight. That's square. The top of the 7 is square. But the leg of the 7 is not square. Now my chat's jumping all over the place and I'm losing my spot. Oh, here we go. You cannot evaluate the status of your heart by that measure. Symptoms will not show after the event. I'm angry more now, sorry. You should have gone weeks ago. One stupid visit. Go now. No. I'll go when I have time to go. And I can measure whether or not I'm having a heart attack by that status. Because if I'm having a heart attack, I'm not alive. Clearly, that's not the case. It's happened way too many times now for it to be a heart attack. I was misinformed the first time when I said I'm pretty sure it's a heart attack, because it does meet all the criteria, except for that last part. The part where you don't get better. MVTV is a trained professional. I know he is. And he's chewing my ass out right now. And he has every right to. Because I'm stubborn, hard-headed, and got other things going on. But he's right. He's absolutely right. Did you check your blood pressure? No, I did not. I don't have any means to check my blood pressure. But I've never had high blood pressure, so that's not even in my thoughts. But I suppose it's possible. Do you have an aspirin? I got everything but aspirin. Okay. Whatever that is. CKMB troponin? I don't know what that is. What is troponin? CKMB troponin. I think you might have misspelled that. MBTV says, look, I was also a cardiac tech in 3 ICUs as well. I've seen enough. You are an illustration figure. 1A for denial for something that can kill you the next hour or have fixed in 1 day, or at least no. Well, half of that's right. It's obviously not going to kill me in 1 hour because I've been dealing with it for months now. But you're right. I can have it fixed, and I can know what the problem is, and as soon as I can get to a doctor, I'll find out. As I said, when it changed, I started thinking about going to the doctor. Before that, I was just considering toughing it out until it went away. It's not going away, so I got to do something about it. Fab Daddy says, emotional damage is my reason. I am not living with a woman. I understand, buddy. I feel you, dog. Kevin says, baseball players named Jake include Jake Marisnick with the Dodger Ballers, Jake Fraley with the Cincinnati Communist Reds, and Jake Myers with the Houston Astros. No players named Sasquatch. Well, if Sasquatch throws a ball, then he's a Sasquatch player, correct? April says, Jake, Caucasian, Fab Daddy, MVTV, ATL, everyone, much love. Hey, April. Good to see you, sweetheart. Welcome to the show. Fab Daddy says, hi, Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Hi, April. Left chest tension means you masturbate right-handed too much. Not true. I switch up. Every now and then I'll sit on my hand until it goes numb, and it's like having a stranger in the house. It's quite nice. You should try that. ATL says, okay. Chat keeps jumping. Hang on. Got to get back up to where I was. There we go. April says, LOL, Fab Daddy, I saw your comment. I know from experience, says Fab Daddy. I hear you. ATL says, stomach. It could be my stomach. It could be something so simple as gas. I might just have like a impaction or something. Could be that easy. Could be very complicated. It could be something severe. It could be dangerous. I'm going to find out. If you have an ulcer, it will feel like a heart attack. I considered that also. I may very well have an ulcer. I may have an ulcer up high in my esophagus, which might be causing that tension, you know. I just have to go get somebody to check me out. And I'm pushing 50 anyway, so it's about time to have all that done, blood work and all the checkups and stuff. So I'm actually considering it. I'm going to go this week and see my family doctor and see what he says. MVTV says, true, but if you have a heart problem and try to explain it away as a gallbladder, you damn well better check the heart first. I'm not trying to explain it away. I'm trying to come to a consensus as to what I think the problem is. It's called a diagnostics. I'm not trying to explain it away, and I'm also not avoiding the subject. I am going to a doctor, and I am going to have him check my heart first and everything else. But I'm not trying to explain anything away. No, hasn't happened so much be okay is suicide. It's called angina, dude. Angina, pain preparatory to a coronary event. Your body is hitting alarms and you are ignoring them. What makes you think I'm ignoring them? I'm sitting here talking to everybody openly about it. I'm not ignoring it. What part of this happens every night is me ignoring it? I'm not ignoring it. ATL says, it's a heart enzyme, I think you're trying to say. Or murmur. Can't really tell. I don't think it's a heart murmur. Caucasian says, if you take an aspirin and it gets better, heart related. If it gets worse, Probably an ulcer. Smart. We don't have any aspirin. Oh, okay. Troponin and CKMB are heart enzymes. Got it. I swear to God Almighty, Jake, what you think is it going away? What you think, is it going away or must not be it, is wrong. Okay. It is not the meter dealing with for months until the second you are not. Go now, tonight, stop stream. Not going to happen. Walter Davis, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Come on in, join the melee. ATL says, when you have heart muscle damage, you will have elevated levels. I'll keep that in mind when I go to the doctor. April says, hello, Walter. Good to see you. April says, hello, Mayo. Kevin says, hey, April, where are you? I am at ... Not allowed to say. LOL. That was funny, says April. Fab Daddy says, my hand did get numb when you sat on it. Yeah. Are you trying to tell us what you're doing right now? Yes. You're a bad boy, Fab Daddy. ATL says, at Untethered Live, temp is right. You know, a quick trip to the ER, and they can test you out pretty quick, and you will be seen quickly with your symptoms. Yeah. I don't know if I want to go to the ER or if I want to go to the family doctor. Both are probably take me straight back because of the symptoms. But I'm thinking they probably could do better at the ER than at the family doctor. They probably have more tools, more testing equipment and such. That's probably the route I'm going to take. The more you wait, the more you grasp at other options, hoping for the best, the more damage to your heart that could be prevented. Human nature. But I stand firm. I say go now and leaving. I hear you, buddy. I appreciate the thought. April says, I'm not so far away, Kevin. Pretty close. You're supposed to drop an aspirin and head to the ER, says ATL. Yeah. I'm not grasping at straws either. Fab Day says, I'm almost 52. Yep. It's time to get checked out. A heart attack will hit hard when it's the big one, and it'll drop you quick. Oh, I know. I know. Being 29 and several months feels old, says Fab Daddy. You think are you saying you're 29 years old? You didn't look 29 the last time I saw you. You better get you one of those 911 beeper thingies. So you know when you fall down, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. That will help you in case you fall down. I hadn't had any trouble falling, baby. And I got a 911 beeper right here. All I got to do is press one button if I get in trouble. But I don't think I have any worry about that. Kevin says, not far away from a restaurant named after a reptile. I will say no more, as people have a tendency to give away my location. I think we all know where you are. Fab Daddy says, I've fallen and I can't get up. Stupid voice texting, says April. It's raining in Florida right now. Really? 29 and several months. Yeah. Yeah. Several months. Dana says, heart attack. Correction. Smile. Hey, Dana. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Come on in. April says, good. Good one. I think that's a thumbs up, not a one, but if you're Greek, that's a one. Kevin is stalking continuously. Stalked continuously. He could be, yeah. He's a pretty sexy dude. Well, you just did, says April. Hello, Dana. Good to see ya. Kevin says, that's true. Stalking means people care. Yeah, in the old days, it was called cat and mousing, or it was called flirting. Today, it's called stalking. Lawyers are the new cops. Corrupt to the core, says Fab Daddy. That's always been the case. Sharks and lawyers. They have the same job. April says he just can't resist it. You know, he's got the center of attention all the freaking time. That's a trait. I have that trait. I like to be the center of attention, too. Dana says, my comment did not post again. Well, what did you say? Arterial sclerosis. Your daily chest pain should be investigated for arterial narrowing, arterial sclerosis. TIS is what I was diagnosed with after I collapsed. Hard tech. They drove 2 stents into my arteries. When you collapsed, did you experience anything similar to what I described? Kevin says, I've got a new Trump 2024 hat today. It says, Save America Again. I put up my life-size Trump cardboard cutout in my office. Go Trump. That's awesome, Kev. You got a life-size cutout? That's awesome. Dana says, heart, April Rain. Fab Daddy says, Kevin, I hope you win cases for the small guys. Yeah, them defense attorneys get all the money, but they always have to represent people that are guilty. It's not really a moral job. April says, I agree with you there, Fab Daddy. But I can't blame you for taking on the money cases. I don't know if he does that kind of law or not. I know he's a lawyer, but I don't know what kind of law. April says, yes, and I have 2 Elvis cardboard cutout heads. No, I have 2 Elvis carports head out to you in my house, and they're pretty to look at. I think it's cardboard cutouts. What are you trying to say? Kevin says, hopefully the Trump backing pays off when he is elected and I can get a pardon for the crime Sasquatch and I are committing with some guy named Hunter. It's terrible, Kevin. Better watch out. That guy's marked. He's going down. You don't want to be in his orbit. Fab Daddy says, prosecutors make more and become vice president. They can, yeah. He likes crack, Russian prostitutes, and laptop computers, says Kevin. Fab Daddy says, I don't like Trump. He probably doesn't like you either. What don't you like about him, by the way? Walter says, I am sitting down and in the house. Good evening, Jake, Dana, Fab, April, Kevin, Montana, ATL. Walter. I'm glad you guys are here. Pulling in now, Kevin. I got to park. Kevin. Dana says, in my situation, it hit me suddenly and very fast. Extreme pain in my chest all the way into my neck and jaws, cold sweats, and collapsed on the ground. Yeah, this is more like a muscle spasm. Is what it feels like. Like right here. Right there in that hollow spot under your collarbone. And it goes all the way through me and into my neck muscle here. And my neck muscle is just as tight as it can be when it's happening. It's like a damn rubber band stretched out. And it feels like that whole area is just spasmed solid. And it's very intense pain right here in this area. And then it lasts for about 30 minutes, an hour. Then it goes away. I have no idea. But MVTV seems to think I need to drop everything and go run to the doctor and make sure I get all the bases covered. And he's not wrong. MVTV says, I'll bail and leave y'all to it. But we'll leave with this. If any here care for Jake, you should stop talking about anything other than getting him to a doctor versus vague. I will promises. Ticking bomb. I'm not a ticking bomb. Everything will be all right. Relax. Take a deep breath. You don't have to leave. That's kind of silly, actually. I'm discussing it with my peers to get everybody's opinion. That's not ignoring it. That's learning about it. Seeing if anybody else has experienced anything similar. Clearly, I'm not freaking out about it, so why are you? Are you just under the impression that my feeble brain can't possibly fathom the ideas of what goes into making a heart work? I just couldn't possibly understand how severe it could be. You don't think I've thought about that? You don't think I've laid awake at night figuring it out? I have. Silver spoon, Trump is a joke. Is he? That did not tell me what you don't like about him. That tells me that you read newspapers. What is it that you don't like about the man? Do you know the man? Do you know anything that he's done or not done? Is there anything specific about him other than he's not a Democrat? Because I got news for you. He was a Democrat most of his life till he ran for president. He strikes me as the kind of guy that plays the game and wins. Kevin says, I say Walter for Trump's vice presidential candidate and Sasquatch for Speaker of the House. I'm with you, Kevin. I'm with you. Walter says, Fab, name on government contractor that was okay to do no but federal projects under Obama. Okay. Fab Daddy says, LOL, Kevin. Walter, hates phones. One contractor that did no bid projects. Dana says, even the muscle spasm might be indicative of an arterial disease. Yes. I have also pain in my shoulder every day. My older brother is a cardiovascular surgeon. It was in very good hands. That's excellent. So you understand about the neck thing then. And it may very well be heart disease, is what I'm thinking. But I won't know until I go get it checked. And that's going to happen. That's not an empty promise. I've already set up the appointment. Fab Daddy says, I have my beliefs and I enjoy the debate. I cannot offer you what you want for specifics. I am a lazy Republican. So what you're saying is you're brainwashed and you're okay with that. You're not going to look into it because you're happy with what you believe. But you enjoy debating about it nonetheless with people that do look into it and have specifics. Got it. Makes sense. April says, be right back, y'all. Kevin says, hey, Dana. Walter says, Fab, it was Trump. He did the renovations on the old D.C. post office under budget and done early. He did do that. He also rebuilt the ice rink in New York and brought it back to life, and a few other things too. And Trump Tower was a eyesore, searing mess about to fall down when he bought it, and now it's one of the most beautiful buildings in that area. So he does good work, whether you like him or not. Kevin says, I say if you have chest pains, drive to your local shitty bar and order a double bourbon on ice. That sounds reasonable. I don't think I'll abstain from drinking just yet, but if it gets too bad, I might have to go do the bourbon thing. Walter says, Trump was a clean businessman until the day he went down the escalator and announced, well, I got to tell you, there is no human being alive on planet Earth, or dead for that matter, that has been investigated as much or had as many alphabet agencies up his ass than Trump has. If that man has ever done anything below board or incorrect or wrong, I promise you they would use it against him immediately. So the fact that they haven't found anything should tell you something. After 7 years of looking, the worst they got is he's got a box of documents that isn't even illegal. So that ought to say something. Fab Daddy says, yes, because most of the stuff is just stuff. True. Very true. Dana says, arterial disease is not necessarily a heart disease. Right, I understand. Kevin is an alcoholic, says Fab Daddy. Yes, he is. Arterial disease can surely lead to a heart attack. I know it can. I'm not sure that's the issue, but when I find out what actually is going on, I'll be better prepared to make lifestyle changes and get on medications and find out how to solve whatever problem is going on. Until then, no matter how bad I want to know, it's a guessing game until somebody actually looks at it and tells me. So it could be at this moment anything. Fab Daddy says, so am I. I like my alcohol. No judgment here. Lisa Reen says, I used to be a never Trumper. I then realized I had been brainwashed by the damn TV. And I was Trump all the way after that. After I got more information, he was the best president we have had in my lifetime. I agree with that, but having said that, there are a lot of things he could have did that he didn't do. He did get some things done, and overall, it was peaceful. And overall, the budget was, status quo. And the stock markets were hitting record highs every day. Prices were low. The economy was booming. There were a lot of good things about his presidency, but there were a lot of things that he could have focused on that he just didn't bother with. I don't know if he planned on doing that in his second term because he thought he had it in the bag, or if it just doesn't occur to him some of the things that presidents need to do. But I agree he was probably the best president we've had in our lifetime. Kevin says, I am a successful alcoholic, thank you. Walter says, many big commercial builders end up in cement shoes in prison, like Johnny Resco, Obama's builder friend that is still in prison. Yeah. Especially around New York and Chicago, where all those guys are tied to the mobs and stuff. There's a lot of shady business deals going on, and those big builders are right in the center of it all. The fact that Trump navigated being a big builder and not got involved in the mob, because if he was, I promise you the FBI would have found out about it by now. Somebody would have turned him in, or somebody would have found some connection. They're looking for anything. If he's jaywalked before, they're looking for that too. Anything. Let's get him on anything. They're trying to get him like they tried to get Al Capone. So he's got to be the cleanest human being alive. I don't know how that's possible, but it seems to be the case. April says, 100% agreed, LOL, Fab Daddy. Kevin says a couple of double bourbons a day keeps the heart attack away. So does an apple. And some greens. Good eating keeps the doctors away. April says, hi, Lisa Reen. Good to see you, love. Lisa says, I got rid of my TV a few years back. It's probably the smartest thing you've ever done. That TV is a mind suck. And I know I'm a hypocrite. I'm sitting here on one. But there's lots of better things you can do with your brain than sit there and watch the news. And I hate to tell you guys, any of you that may be involved in watching the news, I don't care if it's MSNBC or Fox, they're all slanted in their particular direction, and they're all lying to you. You want to know what's really going on? Used to, you could listen to both of them and then shoot somewhere in the middle and you'd get an idea what the truth was. You can't do that anymore because now news isn't news anymore. It's opinion. It's all privatized. It's all cable news, which means it's entertainment, not facts. So if you want to know what's really going on, listen to real reporters like Jimmy Dore, who is a Democrat, by the way, or a progressive. Listen to Dave Rubin. Listen to Joe Rogan. People like that. They will tell you more truth. Tim Pool, Russell Brand, RFK for that matter. They will tell you more truth than the news ever will. Hopefully that helps. Walter says, Kevin, I was told when I was a young man, a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. Can be used a few different ways. I like that. That's sage wisdom there, Walter. April says, yeah, and April's too, LOL. Fab Daddy says, an alcoholic cannot stop after 3 drinks. I can't stop after 3 drinks, and I'm not an alcoholic. I'm going to open a discotheque and call it Disco Squatch. What is a discotheque? I don't know what that is. I think you're trying to spell discotheque, which is 2 words with a dash. Disco Squatch. I like it. The last one was Studio 54, I think. Walter says, hi, Lisa Reen. April says, been around alcoholics my whole life. Me too. My dad was a bad alcoholic. Fab Daddy says, if you drink all the alcohol in the house, you're an alcoholic. What happens if you don't have any alcohol in the house? What does that make you? Lisa Reen says, April. Fab Daddy says, it's rich and red-nosed. Trump? Is that what you're saying? Trump's rich and red-nosed? You are correct, sir. He is that. Dana says, arterial calcification, if severe, will be spotted just by a CAT scan. Mm-hmm. Fab Daddy says, or rich. Yeah. Or are you saying alcoholics are red-nosed? Lisa Reen says, claps and roses, Walter. I gave you the clap, so here's a rose. Is that what that means? Scary. Walter says, I buy one bottle at a time and run out often. A bit, another in a day or two. And buy another in a day or two. I got you. April says, we're all addicted to something. How dare you? How dare you? We're not all addicted to something. Some of us have strong constitutions and never get addicted to anything. Hang on a minute. There's no such thing as people that are addicted to something. I agree. Fab Daddy says, yeah, same with Biden. I agree. I think. What same? Rich and red-nosed? If that's what you mean, I agree. Walter says, Kevin, agreed. April says, mine would be sugar, coffee, cigarettes, and Elvis Presley. Uh-huh. I got 2 out of those 4 things. 3 out of those 4 things. By the time he reads my last comment, it's lost in translation, says Fab Daddy. Sometimes. It's part of the balancing act. Walter says the leadership of both parties sold out. Trump is an outsider. Tulsi Gabbard is too. That's why they both dislike. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I think she'd be a good president. I think she's got compassion and she's actually served in the military, so she understands foreign policy. But I also think she had to do some hard waking up, which she has done, by the way. If you paid attention, she left the Democratic Party because she started realizing what was happening. And I agree with everything she's woke up to seeing, you know. And I'm glad that she saw it, because there's a lot of them out there that see it and won't do anything about it and still vote Democrat. At this moment, you cannot vote for a Democrat, and it's not because they're not good people. It's because they vote Democrat. They vote for the party. That's why they're Democrats. Here's the problem. At the top of that, those people are freaking crazy. They have lost their minds. They have lost all sense of morality. They have lost all sense of direction and love of this country at the top. And if you vote a Democrat for any reason, their votes are going to go to those people. And that's why they're in power. If you want to get rid of the craziness, you got to sever some ties and get rid of the Democrats. And then when those people are gone, then you can vote Democrat all you want. But you cannot vote for them right now. All the stations are owned by the same people. Yes, all the news media are owned by 3 companies. And those 3 companies are headed by one, BlackRock. So trust me, they are compromised. Kevin says, I'm addicted to puppies, kittens, bourbon, cigars, and Untethered Live. I like it. That's a good set of addictions there, buddy. I like it. Fab Day says, April, I love you. Did I tell you? Might better want to tell Kevin. April says, yes. And then I lost her. Where the hell did it go? Damn, I hate it when that chat jumps. Yeah. April says, yes, and I love you too, Fab Daddy. Sorry, Kevin, but April is my cyber girlfriend. Ooh, getting crazy over there. Lisa Reen says, I'm addicted to yarn and crafting and cigarettes. I could take a sweater. You want to make a sweater? Extra large. I'm just kidding. April's laughing. Fab Daddy says, Lisa, that's sweet. It is nice. It's nice to have a hobby. I wish I could crochet. Fab Daddy says, later, April. It's all Lisa Reen now. Well, at least you flip-flop quicker. April says, I wish I could do that, Lisa, with yarn. I don't know. How? Well, it takes practice. What I wish I could do is make quilts. My mom and my sister made quilts all the time, and my aunts. And they were really good at it, and they got really nice quilts for the beds. And I have no idea how to go about that, and I wouldn't have the patience if I did, but I'd love to have a quilt maker in the family again. Because those quilts are lovely. If you've ever been under one, they're lovely. Fab Daddy says, I'll be a cyber hoe. Kevin says, then drink the rubbing alcohol or Drano. Wow. Don't do that. Either one of those things. Walter says, a disco would probably go over pretty well. Kind of like the 50s places in the 80s. Maybe. April says, ha ha ha, I snort. Comment, LOL. Not. I snort. Comment. Oh, like the bleach cleaner? Eesh, don't do that. I snort Red Devil Eye. That's true. Or I used to. Don't anymore. Does Jake know I am drinking a Harley Davidson Bud Wiper? No, I did not know that. I don't condone Budweiser anymore. They did some crazy stuff. And they didn't apologize for it. They doubled down instead. So I'm on the bandwagon for that. Dana says, I think that an alcoholic might be the one who drinks alone. I'm not sure, but it makes some sense to me. Yeah, if you're drinking alone, you got problems. Drinking is supposed to be a social thing. Walter says, I drink alone. My wife quit smoking and drinking after a heart attack. It's probably a smart move. Although, my mama didn't raise no quitter. Boycott Harley Davidson for partnering with Budweiser. I don't have anything to do with Harley Davidson. I ride one, but mine's a 2001 before all that happened. And I wouldn't buy anything from the shop. Because it's expensive, beside the fact of their politics. But yeah, they're under management now that don't have what's best for the company in mind. They're doing some crazy stuff too. Most companies are, if you look around, most of them are doing things like that. Budweiser got called out about it. That's all. But every company's doing the same stuff. There's some kind of social credit score in place called DIE or DCI or something like that. Stands for diversion, inclusivity, and equity. So I think it's DIE, which is ironic. Die. The company dies. Go woke, go broke. But if they don't fill the quota that entails, if they don't have enough diversity, enough equity, and enough inclusivity, their score goes down. It means that it's harder for them to make money, harder for them to get money. So they all are playing this game right now, which I don't understand why they don't just say, hey, I'll run my company, thank you. You go somewhere else. I didn't hire you. Who are you telling me what I got to do? But they don't. They all play the same game. So that's the way that goes. April says, that's true, Dana. Believe me, I know. What, drinking alone? Yeah. Lisa Reen says, Comet will make your mouth turn green. It's worse than Listerine. Kevin says, ancient Chinese saying, man who alcohol be a better lover than a wussy non-alcoholic. Shinsei. Yeah, I don't think that's what he said. April says, my favorite addiction is my grandkids and Family Matters. Aw. Family Matters, the show, or your family matters? Tulsi Gabbard is a hottie. Yes, she is. She sure is. She is a good-looking woman. And she is strong-looking, too. She looks like she could probably tear your tail up if she needed to. I don't know that she can, but she looks like she can. She's about 6 foot tall, built. I love that silver streak in her hair. I wish mine would do that instead of just being all yellow-looking. I got a silver streak in my hair, but it's diffuse and looks like I didn't wash my hair this year. But yeah, I like Tulsi Gabbard. I like her sentimentality. I like her personality. I like her charm, and I like her convictions and her belief systems. And she is a Democrat. But again, I say she's left the party, so I guess you could call her an independent now. Or a libertarian, maybe. I don't think so. Libertarians are a little aloof. Like Dave Smith, which I like Dave Smith. He's a pretty smart fellow. But I'm not real crazy about the libertarian thing. April says, I'm joking, Lisa. I don't snort anything, I swear. Don't swear. Bad for you. Walter says, Tulsi is still in the military. Andrew Yang isn't a fool either. He started the forward part as a third rail. Yeah, but Andrew Yang is involved in that woke nonsense. I'm sorry. I liked him too at first, but he said some things and did some things and involved himself with some people that I don't want nothing to do with. Snort, I mean, says April. Yep. Speaking of third rails. How many Democrats do you know? Says Fab Daddy. I know a bunch of them. I'm personal friends with Don Davis, the Democratic governor of North Carolina. This area. I know quite a few Democrats. And I'm also very informed politically. I know of which I speak. I'm not just running my mouth or talking points that I heard on TV. I have my own opinions. And I don't regurgitate things I see on the news. So I think that's what you're getting at. But I do know quite a few Democrats. And I agree with some things that are Democratic. But I ask you to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge your allegiance to the flag right now. And when you get to the part where it says, and to the republic for which it stands, meaning the flag, one nation under God, indivisible. That's the opposite of democratic. A democracy is a mob rule. Democracy is two wolves and a lamb having dinner. Or deciding what's for dinner. A Republican, or a republic rather, is a lamb that has a firearm making decisions too. A well-informed militia. Read the Constitution. We do not live in a democracy. Democracy is overthrowing the country that our forefathers set up as a constitutional republic with some democratic tendencies. It's supposed to be governed by checks and balances that keep people from having the kind of power that they are usurping currently in this administration. They are doing the things that we ran away from to come to this country to stop. So, I do know a few things about Democrats. Fab Daddy says, I call BS. Well, you can call it all you want. When it picks up the phone, let me know what it says. Dana says, April Rain, this is not an addiction. It is love. Aw. That's so sweet. You guys are so sticky sweet. Make my teeth hurt. Lisa Reen says, I believe you, April. You are a good kid. Fab Daddy says, Andrew Tang is a better candidate. Better candidate than whom? I don't think so. If he were a better candidate, he would have made it somewhere in the race, wouldn't he? He wouldn't have dropped out in the middle of it. But he is a interesting dude. I'll tell you who's a better candidate. Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't think he's ever going to win, but that guy knows some things. I like the way he delivers ideas. That's a good candidate. Aw, thanks, love, says April. Nobody's perfect, and I judge no one. Much love to everybody. Same here. Kevin says, we are truly know the wise men were really named Jack, Jim, and Jose. We all truly know. Yeah, we all know truly that the three wise men were named Jack, Jim, and Jose. That would be Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, and Jose Cuervo. But you forgot George Dickel. Walter says, I know quite a few Democrats. They look at politics like a football game is about our side winning, not about America doing better. That is true. Fab Daddy says, 10 minutes behind. Depends on how quick we type, right? I'm working on it. April says, I agree, Walter. Fab Daddy says, Walter, that blows. Kevin says, Walter, if you run for president, then you have my vote. Only millions more to go, and you are president, baby. Who else here is voting for Walter? I'll vote for you once. Sports is Jake's politics. Nope, I don't do sports either. I don't even like sports. I don't know anything about sports. I spent my life on this side of the microphone. I don't know anything about sports. I do know a little bit about politics, though. I am kind of a politician. I do speak publicly for a living. Fab Daddy says, my bad, reverse that. Politics is Jake's sports. There you go. Now that makes sense. LOL, says April. I'll vote for you, Walter. See, you got a good thing going here, Walt. Got your platform all built up. Fab Daddy says, if we ever meet in person, would we get along? I don't see why not. Lisa Reen says, Walter for president. Well, Fab Daddy, that all depends on you, actually, because I don't have a grudge, and I can talk to anybody, whether I agree with them or not. Our friendship does not depend on whether I agree with you or not. I don't have to agree with you. I can disagree. We could argue like cats and dogs and still be buddies. Because ultimately what matters is what your character is and how you treat people. And if you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. But know this, I'm the alpha dog. I always have been. I usually run my show. So I require respect for people. I've done enough that I deserve that respect. And I feel like if you don't give it, then you're being an asshole for no reason. So if a person comes up to me and smarts off and acts like a peckerhead, then we're not friends. But if you treat me with the same respect I treat you with, we get along swimmingly. And there would never be a problem. Well, you might argue a lot, but I like arguing, so, you know, me and my mama argued ruthlessly. Everybody that didn't know us thought we hated each other, but she's my best friend, and I was hers. Best friend. Not just my mom, but my friend. I could count on her. I learned from her. I sharpened my teeth on her, and she was a great arguer. So there's some value in that. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. I hope that helps. Walter says, I think it's rather interesting that Harley is marketing to the crowd that rides Vespas and e-bikes and don't wear leather because they are vegetarians. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Did you see Harley's new electric bike? Man, it's shameful. My Harley Davidson is 1 year before they started working with China. So it's 100% American made. It's 100% Harley Davidson. But just barely, you know. If I'd have waited a year later, I'd have a piece of junk. Dana says, April Rain is very sweet soul. Yes, she is. She'll cut you like a fish, though, but she's very sweet. Walter says, which brings me to another question. Why do animal rights people throw paint on old rich ladies wearing fur, but cross to the other side of the street when they see bikers in leather? Well, because bikers in leather fight back. That's an easy thing to rectify there. Most people, it's just the same reason that we don't have BLM riots in these small towns that we live in. Jason Aldean is getting lambasted right now because of a song he put out called Try That in This Small Town. Or Try That in a Small Town. Well, he's absolutely right. Round here, that ain't gonna fly. It might work. You might get away with that in the city, but you come down here starting trouble, you got some problems, buddy, because we don't put up with that. Everybody takes care of everybody. Everybody's got everybody's back. Everybody knows everybody. You know, you come in starting some trauma, we're gonna send you right back out. That's how small towns work. The reason that the environmentalists like to pick on people that don't fight back is because they don't fight back. Know what I mean? You're not going to rob somebody that if you break into their house and they shoot you, and you know that. So you're not going to rob them. You're going to go to the house that the two vegetarians live in that'll probably just give you the money at the door. Right, says April. I agree, Walter. To salvage his political career, he tried to hitch his wagon to the historic fist open gay man to run for president. It didn't work. You must be talking about Yang. Or who are you talking about? Dana says, democracy is an oxymoron. Republic is real. That's right, Dana. We live in a republic, says Fab Daddy. Correct. We live in a constitutional republic, not a democracy. The fact that the word democracy gets thrown around so much, and in fact, you can use that as a barometer. Anybody that uses the phrase, our democracy, is trying to subvert your freedom. Anybody. If they use that phrase, we're trying to save our democracy. We're doing this for democracy. Blah, da, 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 democracy. Stay away from that person, because that person does not have your best interest or your freedom in their mind. And that's just as simple as that. If you want to call that Republican or conservative, go ahead. I'm neither. I lean conservative when it comes to money and when it comes to liberty. Everything else, I have opinions that go both ways. You know, I have some liberal opinions. I have some progressive opinions. I have some staunch conservative opinions. But I'm not one or the other. I vote Republican because it seems to be the lesser of two evils. But if you think the Republicans ain't done some crazy stuff, look at Mitch McConnell. Look at Lindsey Graham. Look at the dude with the widow's peak. I can't remember his name now, but he was big when Trump first got in office. I forget what he did, but he had that pointy hair. What was his name? Big blue eyes. That guy was scary. Kevin says, have you heard about the new bill that passed in Congress? If your first name is Kamala, you cannot run for anything from dog catcher to president. Is that true? I hope they passed that bill. That woman is dumb as a box of rocks with only one rock in it. April says, thanks, Dana. It's all natural, I promise. So sweet, Dana. Much love to you truly. Aw. Dana's throwing hearts left and right. Walter says, during the French Revolution, it was a pure democracy. That's why so many people were executed by the mob, which is the democratic rule or popular vote. Fab Daddy says, but we will vote for the most popular candidates. Fuck my two-party system. As a veteran, I believe votes count. But most Republicans and some Democrats believe it don't. That's not exactly true, but kind of true. We don't believe that votes don't count. We believe that our votes aren't being counted. Listen, Joe Biden won by 81 million votes. That's 40 million more votes than Obama got. He didn't campaign. You understand? He didn't have a platform. Nobody liked him. Even the Democrats made fun of him before he ran for office. He is a known plagiarizer and a known liar from the 80s. He's ran for president 4 times. Nobody likes Joe Biden on either side. And he won with more votes than there are voters. You understand why we don't think our vote counts? Because there's some fuckery afoot. That's the way it is. However, the vote is 100% safe and legal, and it works every time, and he absolutely won 100%. YouTube. Walter says, I guess you all have made me the leading candidate. Look at there. You might be president, buddy. I want a stipend. Or some federal backing would be nice. Let me get a church grant. Woohoo, Walter. That's a bike to hold on to, says Walter. Yes, it is. It's a nice bike. OMG Jake. Or ONG. What do you mean? That's right, Jake, says April. Black Lives showed up in Pottsville, next town to mine. We lined the streets with rifles, and they left early, says Walter. That's right. They showed up in my town, too. There was about 7 of them. They went to the courthouse in a limousine. They got out. The news was right behind them. The news got out and set up their cameras. I was watching because I was living in town at my sister's flower shop in an apartment above, so I could look out the window and see them. There was about 7 of them. When the news cameras rolled, they started shouting and walking around, toting these signs and yelling, Black Lives Matter, for about 4 minutes. And then the cameras stopped, and they got back in their limousine and left. I don't have a problem with that kind of protesting. Small towns are not open-minded. Sure they are. Just not so open-minded that our brains fall out. We're open-minded. I'll help anybody. I'll support any cause that's worthy. I don't know what you mean by open-minded. I don't put up with nonsense. I refer you to rumble.com/UntetheredLive, my last video, number 7. Check that out if you really want to know how I feel. I can't say some things here on YouTube, but I can say it on Rumble, and I did. And you'll love it. Or hate it. Or be triggered by it. or be enlightened by it. But it's a good video nonetheless. Check it out. But we're not closed-minded. We're not bigots. We're not racist, or whatever you guys like to call us. We are just people. And we're concerned about feeding our families and paying our light bills and making sure we have a roof over our heads and praying to our God Almighty above. If that's closed-minded, then okay. But there's just as many black people in this town as there are white people, and we don't have a problem with them. So, and they don't have a problem with us. And most of us go to church together, those that go to church. Matter of fact, at the end of my street, there's 3 churches right there in a row. There's a black church, a white church, and a mixed church. Fab Daddy says, not in my hometown. Forget about it. What hometown are you from? Walter says, Antifa showed up at the Trump rally in Harrisburg. Me and a few others came out with AR-15s and kit, and they seemed like very polite young people. I bet they were. We were taught we were taught from the Prussia model. What is the Prussia model? Fab Daddy says, I watch too much YouTube. That's possible. Full of useless information. I don't know what the Prussia model is, but Prussia being in a communist state, I'd say you were probably talking about communism or Marxism or some such. I think that's what you're getting at. I don't know what they taught in Prussia. Prussia doesn't exist anymore, by the way. It did for a while. That's where the color blue comes from. But other than that, pretty much nothing. I read that one. Leadership is no good, says Walter. Trey Gowdy. I used to like Trey Gowdy, and then I realized he was as full of shit as everybody else was. Just putting on an act. Ain't really doing anything. But I like his personality, though. Kind of a snake bite kind of guy. Dana says the loudmouth politicians screaming democracy should replace this word with tyranny. At least they will say the truth once in their lifetime. I agree with you, Dana. Happy jump day, everybody. It's hump day. Happy hump day. Wednesday. Hump day. Kevin says leadership can be good. Vote Walter. Hump day. Not hump day, but jump anyway. I like that. Biden didn't go against Obama. I don't know how he can. He's got Obama's hand right up his puppet. You want to know something really interesting? Aside from the things that he shut down, he's pretty much doing everything Trump did, including finishing the wall, by the way. Nobody's talking about that, but go look. It's public record. That's what he's doing. Wonder why? Because you can't complain about a wall if it's not one finished. That's why. Your disdain is present and clear, just like mine for Trump. I can't argue, but at least I have reasons. I ask you for reasons. I'm open to the conversation. I just want to know what they are. You know, I don't like Trump personally either. You don't have to like a man to vote him for president. It's not a popularity contest. I don't want to hang out with him or have dinner with him. I don't want to let my kids sleep at his house. But as far as running a business, he's the guy for the job. You know, he's brash. Everybody respects him. They might be a little scared of him because they don't know what he's going to do next. He's 6 foot tall. He's 72 years old and can run circles around everybody in the game. What do you want for a president? You know what I mean? There's not a politician alive that could withstand the Trump train. You get in a room with him, he sucks all the air out of the room. He's the guy everybody's paying attention to. His campaign was funded entirely by news coverage that he got for free because he's Trump. He would get his point across, and then he'd say something like, only Rosie O'Donnell. And then all the cameras would turn to him. Smart. The guy graduated from West Point, by the way. That's a pretty prestigious school that very rich people come from. Often. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I think he's an asshole. I think he's full of himself. I think he probably brags too much. He certainly talks too much. But he's the right guy for the job. Walter says, it is a distraction. You don't win the presidency with popular vote, correct? We are not a democracy. We are a republic, despite the fact that they keep using the word democracy on every news media channel in existence and in every press conference and in every chance they get to say, our democracy, our democracy. It's almost like they're trying to normalize the word and make people think that we live in a democracy because they keep saying we live in a democracy. We do not. Popular vote doesn't count. You win by the Electoral College. It's voted on by people who live in the states. Each state has a number attached to it. Like Florida, I think, has 3 or something like that. I don't remember all the numbers, but each state has so many senators and so many governors, depending on its size or its district. And those senators and governors have a certain amount of votes that they can cast. And some have more and some have less, depending on whether they're battleground states or whatever, states that were involved in the original union or, whatever it was. Those votes are tallied by the Congress, the Library of Congress, the Electoral College. And then they make a decision. 13 people make a decision who the president is going to be. 13 people. That's how it works. Unless there's tampering with votes and such. But that never happened. Nobody's ever cheated in an election. Ever. Except maybe 2016. Come on now. Joe Biden was selected. What a clown show. On display for the whole world to see. Yep. Everybody hit that like button, says April. Sub and share. Lots of thumbs up and hearts and smiley faces with herpes. Fab Daddy says, I don't know Trump, but I kind of do. Fake news. Has Trump 24/7. Well, you know what they want you to know. That should alarm you, by the way. That should make you wonder about what kind of man he actually is because of the way that the media depicts him. You've got to know that that's not who he is. You've got to know that they're trying to make him look as bad as possible. They're taking everything out of context. They're taking everything and turning up to 11 the color yellow and all that nonsense. They're doing everything they can to make him look like the worst person on earth, including saying he says things that he didn't say. Like, I'll give you an example. Back when the riots happened, where the Tiki Torch guys came out. I forget what city it was in now, but it was at a park, and there were rioters there. And there were also protesters there. And there were also just people mingling around there. Just people, not involved in the protests. It was a big park. The protesters that were there had permits to be there. They had every right to be there and to demonstrate however they saw fit. It was concerning the statues being torn down. And they said that he went on TV and said that there were good people on both sides, meaning white supremacists and Black Lives Matter. And then they said that he didn't even condemn David Duke or KKK or anything like that. You go back and find that whole interview and you watch it, the whole thing, you watch it and listen to what Trump says. And then go back and look at the reporting of what Trump said and you'll see the discrepancy. You'll see where they have cherry-picked things that he said that he didn't say. And you'll understand how they paint everything that he says. You go back and watch that interview, and you tell me, you come back and tell me what you think of what he said. Fab Daddy says Biden is there too, and I dislike him, but Trump and Biden need to go. I am an ageist. Are you saying atheist? I hope you're not an atheist. If you're an atheist, why are you coming to my Bible studies? I think that's ageist. Ageist. I got it. Not atheist. Ageist. Okay. You don't like old people. Got it. They both are too old to rule our nation. Have you seen Nancy Pelosi or I can't think of her name. The one that had to be told to vote. She thought she was there to give a speech. Can't think of her name. Or any of the Republican guys. This whole country is run by people over 80. What is her name? It's right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it. Look up Prussia education system. I will. That is a YouTube. Walter says, damn it, stop jumping. Fab, I wish I could repost it. There is a video of Obama when he was in the state senate. Make up a bad story about your opponent and repeat it until it is believed. That's how you beat them. Yeah. There was another guy that said that if you tell a lie long enough and big enough, it becomes the truth. That was Adolf Hitler. It's true, says Walter David. Biden painted himself into a corner. Mm-hmm. Did Jake call America a business? I did. Huh? You don't think America's a business? What do you think the deficit is? What do you think the GMO is? What do you think the government is? Government. To govern the mind. Think about words. Why do you think that when you're born, a certificate or a receipt is issued with a number on it, and that number stands for an all capital letter name, which is an LLC or a business, and then it's traded on the stock market like a business, and that's how civilizations work. Why do you think that all of our terms are maritime law terms or landlocked law terms? Ask the lawyer in the room. Yes, America's a business. It's a business that is registered in the Dominican Republic, by the way, not America. Look into that. Walter says, I have friends that are members of his golf course, meaning Trump. Their kids played with Barron in the sandbox. They say he is very nice in person. I'm sure he is very nice in person. That whole thing that he does on stage is an act. It is meant to disarm people. Go watch him on The Apprentice. But then go back and watch him on Oprah Winfrey in the 80s and see how articulate he actually is. How smart he actually is. And then compare it to what you see on TV now. That's a character that he plays. He developed it on The Apprentice. And it works. That's why he keeps doing it. You ever notice that when you walk into a room and see him sitting with people, he's leaning over, whispering to them? He's not being Trump at that point. He's talking. And if you could hear what he's saying, it'd be very articulate and very intelligent. And then he stands up and does the Trump thing, which sounds nothing like that. It's amazing. It's almost like he understands policy. We are not a business, says Fab Daddy. Okay. You believe what you want to believe, buddy. Your faith in Trump is misleading, is it now? I don't recall saying I had any faith in Trump. I have faith in God. I don't have faith in people. It's not misleading anybody. I can tell you what I can observe. It's up to you to make up your mind what you want to do. I'm not leading anybody in that direction. So it can't be misleading because I'm not leading, miss or otherwise. I am telling you what I think personally. I'm not suggesting you think that unless you want to go look for yourself. And if you come to a different conclusion after actually looking, then we can talk about it. But not liking somebody because the news told you to is not a good policy. I did come to my conclusions by using critical thought. I'm not saying you didn't. I'm saying that's how I'm talking about what I feel because I went and looked, not because I watched the news. I realize that sounds like I'm saying you did that. I'm not saying that. Nonetheless, we are a business. I defy you to find anything that functions in the world and call it not a business. What do you think the Congress is doing when they pass bills with names that sound very reassuring, but then there's 4,000 pages of stuff that have nothing to do with what it's named, like the CARES Act? You know. Wonder what all that money is going to if we're not a business. All those black ops, all those deals with Raytheon and Boeing. Why would the government have dealings with Boeing, an aircraft manufacturer? It's almost like they're in business together. Didn't Democrats get all over Dick Cheney because he was a member of the board of Raytheon and that all of his dealings in the government were pushing contracts towards Raytheon? Wasn't that a thing back when Dick Cheney was in office? Don't I remember people complaining about that? What do you think they were complaining about? His business. My nephew, Walter Davis says, isn't rich, and he is in West Point now. Just passed air assault school last week. I didn't say everybody that went to West Point was rich. I said a lot of rich people come from West Point. A lot of leaders end up going to West Point. A lot of them. It's just an observation. I'm not saying they build leaders, but I think they kind of do. Dope on a rope assault course, says Fab Daddy. Dana says the Prussian Empire covered eastern part of Germany through the whole Poland, including Lithuania in the 1700s until 1918, to the end of WW1. They were not communists. Okay. What were they? Fab Daddy says, nice, Walter, nephew. LOL, says April. Absolutely right, Jake. Thank you. Fab Daddy says, I just learned about a drug that effectively destroyed Europe in the 19th and 16th century, 15th and 16th century. Ether. You ought to look into the Opium Wars and what that was about. Fab Daddy says, yep. Oh, I missed it again. Where's it at? Oh, I'm getting closer. Walter says, Fab Daddy, try this on. Trump is the guy who so far fits the description of the little horn in Revelations. He's the guy who could get the third temple built for the Antichrist to walk out of. I don't know about that, but you're on to something there. There is something going on there, and the name Trump isn't lost on me. Fab Daddy says, racist Trump never went on Oprah. Wait, he did? Yes, he did. Not only did he go on to Oprah, but he was also friends with Snoop Dogg and every rapper in the game. and most ball players. He was the big G. Everybody loved Trump until he ran for president. If you don't believe that, go look at pictures of him at Hillary Clinton's kid's wedding. He was invited to their wedding. Walter says, meanwhile, Joe ran in 72 as a segregationalist in the whole Clinton crime bill that made the 15% black population 85% of the prison population. Joe Biden wrote the crime bill that was tough on crack cocaine that caused all those black people to get arrested in the 80s and are still in jail now, and also people that were smoking pot and things like that. He wrote that bill, or was part of writing that bill. And look into what Goldwater is. Look into who mentored Hillary Clinton. Fab Daddy says, not going to help. Okay. Margie Allen says, a certain number of electors represent voters for a state. However, they can take those votes and vote differently. Sure, they can. They have one or two votes. They can go one or the other. Lisa Reen says, USA is a corporation. Yes, it is. Or was that a question? I think it was a statement, because it's true. It is a corporation. All the dealings with oil and all the wars that we've been fighting for the last 30, 40 years is about money. It's about oil and property and the westernized civilizations that don't want to have anything to do with democracy. We are democratizing foreign third world countries so that they become part of the conglomerate of the U.S., just like the Dominican Republic is, just like Cuba is now when the embargo lifted. After, what's his name with the beard got killed or died, whatever it was. I can't remember if he died or got killed, but he's no longer there, and his son dropped out, and now we run the place. Walter says, some poor some bitch is losing money on me. Hey, Margie, says Walter. Alan says, Margie says, hi, Walter. Dana says, America is a corporation big time. Every newborn is immediately incorporated into the system through an ID, which is the Social Security number. Correct. That's what I was saying earlier. And that's exactly what that number is. It's an identification number. It's part of the receipt that is issued when you're born. You can't get a receipt for something that isn't someone else's property. The corporation. The big U.S. of A. Fab Daddy says, we argue and it's okay. Correct. Walter says, Margie, no electors can only vote for who they are sent to vote for. But Democrat governors have often sent their own electors. That's the thing that's going on right now with the people that are getting in trouble because they did what they did when JFK was elected. They've done it several times since then, where they send their own set of electors for both sides, just in case the votes shake out in one way or the other. Because say if you have a tie, right? Say if both candidates, Republican and Democrat, have pretty much the same numbers, you send the assigned voters, who are the Electoral College, the 13 guys, who are supposed to vote based on those numbers when the votes are tallied. But then you'll send another set of guys just in case it leans the other direction, and you can set your guy up. It's not supposed to be done, but people do it all the time. It's not actually illegal, and that's what the Supreme Court is fighting about right now in that case that I know very little about, but it is concerning the voters and the electors. You are right. This is the first time, wait a minute, but Democrat governors have often sent their own electors. This is the first time when Pence picked the governor's electors. Yeah, I kind of agree with Trump that Pence did the wrong thing in not certifying those votes because they were mail-in ballot votes and they were not properly tallied. There were some discrepancies, a lot of discrepancies. A lot of dead people voted. A lot of people voted twice. A lot of names voted that don't exist, that sort of thing. A lot of votes came from places that don't exist. But Pence did kind of do what he was sent there to do, which was to certify the votes. Although Trump did have a point in saying he could have refused to do so, which would have kept the election going. It's kind of up in the air. Ultimately, Biden won. He's the president. There's nothing anybody can do about that. He'll be president until the next election. That's the ultimate end of that. Doesn't matter who was right. Doesn't matter who could do what. That's how it shook out. So even if the election was a complete fraud, he's still president. He's in the Oval Office right now. So you got to accept him as your president. And that is the difference between me and a Democrat, because they have constantly said, that's not my president. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, he is your president. Biden is my president. I don't like him. I don't like what he's doing, but he is the president. And because he's the president, he deserves that respect. And I would fight anybody that would try to overthrow him as a president, because he's in the Oval Office. He's the president. Now, I can pray to God he gets elected out of there quickly and does very little damage, or does no more damage. But he is the president. Instead of the constitutional electors, when Pence called Pennsylvania using the unconstitutional electors, the fence came down on J6. Yeah, there was some weird things going on during that time for sure. Things that shouldn't have been going on. Fab Daddy says, we all figure things out by experience only. Does business have the employees controlling the bosses? Oh, yeah. Unions ruin America. Do you actually think that do you actually think that the government works for you? Is that what you think? I know that's the way it is in principle. You vote them in. They are your employees, not the other way around. But do you actually think that's the way it is? Try to walk into the White House by yourself, uninvited. See what happens. For that matter, try to go to the People's House. The big Capitol building that's the People's House. Try to go there and see if you don't get trespassed. Walter says, a lot of leaders, but not all make a lot of money. My friend, Dale, died pretty poor. I'm sorry to hear that. April said, my battery looks like it's got to plug in. Well, plug it in. Margie says, Walter, honey, things are not always as they should be. That's true. Fab Daddy says, okay, that's cray-cray. It might be. Catch up, Jake. I'm working on it. I'm trying. Fab Daddy says, LOL. Capitalism is not a single business. America cannot be like Ma Bell. No, Ma Bell is a phone company. And capitalism is not the United States. It is the premise by which the United States makes money. Capitalism is an ideology. It's a way of living. It's a way of doing business. But the company is the United States of America. That's what the market is. You ever heard of the free market or the marketplace of ideas? Market is a business. Walter says, Margie, yes, they always work out according to God's plan. Might not be ours, but it's always follows the plan. Correct. We will break it up. Monopolies are greed. Really? Ask Google how they feel about that. They own everything from YouTube to Instagram to, MySpace. They own everything. Google is a monopoly. Google is owned by a company that you're not even aware of unless you are aware of it. The ABC company, which owns Google, which is way bigger than Google. It has more power than our actual government does. Imagine that. But no, we hadn't broke up a monopoly since Microsoft. Think about that. And that was in the 80s. America is not a business, it's a republic. Okay. You think what you want to think. Watch and see how business-like it runs, though. It's supposed to be a republic. I wonder how many times you've heard anybody in the government use the word republic, unless they're protesting somebody using the word democracy. But think about how many rules are applied or how many laws are passed concerning a republic. It is in the Constitution, but it is not the way our country is being ran. Kevin says, okay, let's ask an honest question. If a man with a gun pointed at you and said you have to have sex with one of two people before you, and before you stood Bill and Hillary Clinton, who would you choose? I'd choose the man with the gun, clearly. Fab Daddy says, I would do both. I mean, Bill does play a mean saxophone, if you know what I'm saying. Menage a trois, says Fab Daddy. Dana says, Biden was selected, not elected. Amen, sister. April says, right, Dana. Agreed. Walter says, Pence certified the unconstitutional electors in Pennsylvania. The electors are picked by the state representatives by their district. Trump won the district races. The governor under COVID. Yeah. I was watching TV at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:03 in the morning, exactly when Trump was 80,000 votes ahead and the polls were going like this. And then all of a sudden at 4:03, it went. That isn't possible mathematically unless something's going on. 81 million votes. I'd like for you to tell me how many elections you've watched in your lifetime and how many times all the way up till the win, how many times the number got above 40. 40 and 40 is 80. 50 and 50 is representative of the whole voter class, which not everybody in the country votes. Only some people vote. So 50% of some of the people in America, right? That would be a tie. That'd be 47 and 47 or 47.5 and 47. That's a tie. When you have 81 million votes, the math don't work. You understand what I'm saying to you? That means more people voted than there are people that vote. I'm sorry. That's fuckery. That's the only word to describe it. Emergency powers to send his own. Pence picked the governors. Yes. Fab Daddy says, okay, difference between Joe and Donald. Joe's will peacefully give up his position, unlike Trump. Really? Did you see Joe Biden get attacked when he took the White House? Did you see any protests as he took his inaugural speech? Did you see anybody stop him from entering into the White House and becoming president, walking into the Oval Office? Did you see any of that? Because that's what a non-peaceful transfer of power would have looked like. Did anybody get killed or shot at? Did anybody backbite or argue? Did you hear Trump go on TV and say, that's not my president? No, you didn't. Trump did legal things because he felt like he was cheated out of his election that he rightfully won. That's what he felt. And so he took legal actions in courts, to which the Biden DOJ immediately knocked all that down, whether it was right or not. And all this other stuff, including the UFOs, which are being touted right now, are distractions from those things. But there was no non-peaceful transfer of power. It was very peaceful. Matter of fact, it went off without a hitch. So despite what you've been told, what you can see with your own eyes is Biden won, and now he's president, and has been this whole time. Nobody's kicked him out yet, despite the fact that the man can't finish a sentence or, walk more than 3 steps. Trump is a stain on our country and Constitution. You keep saying things like that, but what do you mean? What has he done that stains our Constitution? What unconstitutional thing has Trump ever done? What illegal thing has Trump ever done? What thing that was bad for our country did he do? Walter Davis says, Trump told us what would happen if Joe was elected, and it all happened. And that's true. April says, I disagree, Fab Daddy. ? Like, what are you thinking? Make the majority be, and it will happen, says Fab Daddy. Really? What will happen? What majority are you referring to? When Trump refused to peacefully transfer power, I knew he was a piece of crap. He did not refuse to transfer power. Biden took power. Trump gave it to him. The only thing he didn't do was call him and capitulate. Just because Trump didn't concede, did you forget that Hillary also didn't call Trump and concede? Did you forget about that part? Remember, she still hasn't conceded that she lost the election to the Donald. Come on now. I believe you're operating under faulty information. I don't believe you're incorrect because you're bad. I believe you're incorrect because you have bad information. If you get the right information, I think you'll see it differently once you get past the Trump derangement syndrome. I respect our Constitution. Do you? Of course I do. That's all I talk about. Look behind me. What kind of question is that? Are you taking low blows now because you're not winning the argument? We disagree, but it's all right, remember? Walter says, Fab, Trump turned over the keys to the House in good shape. Unlike the Clintons, who vandalized the White House and stole the silver and china and all of the W's off of all of the keyboards in the White House, by the way, which was just a prank, but kind of silly. Fab Daddy says, oh, Walter, really? I've yet to hear you give one instance at all of what Walter should be owing about. Or me. I only believe in 60 versus 50. What does that mean? There has never been a 60 if you're talking about votes. Every election I've ever seen ended on about 48. Except for Nixon. Nixon was a rarity. He almost won in a landslide. But everybody else, it's split about 40-40. It's under 50. Almost every time. Fuckery, says Fab Daddy. It's a good word. Walter says, when you watch the popular vote, it didn't matter. You don't win that way. Montana and the Dakotas would have no say. We have the Electoral College to give them a say. We live in a republic, says Walter. Fab Daddy says, really? Mm-hmm. April says, yep. Fab Daddy says, BS. We'll call him out on it then. Give us some facts that prove that's BS. Tell us where we're not thinking correctly. Or just keep taking pot shots. One or the other. Trump lost and created an indictment. Wake up. What do you mean by that? Trump didn't indict anybody. Trump is being indicted. I don't think you understand what the word indictment means. Or you misspelled something. One or the other. Walter says, Fab, you're old enough to remember that. You were told stuff that is incorrect. What stuff? What am I incorrect about? We can do this. If you want to go to facts, if you want me to pull up sources, if you want me to show you documents, I can do that. I thought we were having a conversation, but if you'll tell me what I'm incorrect about, I will prove my point. That way you don't have to wonder. You can see it with your own eyes. I don't operate off of stuff I was told. In case you haven't watched my Bible study, I do my own research. I look at the source. I don't go on secondhand and third-hand information. I don't watch the news, either side. I don't read newspapers. I go looking at information for what it is, and I find out what's going on, which is why I have a different opinion than most people, because I actually see what's going on. I don't get my information from the news. Kevin says, if I go to court wearing a nice suit but no underwear, does that make me a legal slut? It depends on if you're doing the walk of shame afterwards. 3 indictments and more coming, yes, all of which have failed thus far and will continue to fail because this is election tampering. This is not trying to arrest somebody. They don't care about Trump. They care about him winning the election, which is why they're trying to tie him up where he can't, which is why they'll keep coming with indictments after indictments after indictments. And just like everything else for the past 7 years, Russia, Ukraine, the fact that he has a P-tape out there, everything has rolled off his back like water off a duck's back because none of it is true. None of it. It's all tactics to stall him. Keep on bringing indictments. He ain't going to get arrested. Not for long. He might get arrested, but they'll let him go immediately because he didn't break any laws. It's a stunt. Wake up yourself. Trump is a crook. Biden is a crook. Well, I don't disagree there. But he's a smart crook that got away with the crooked things that he did. Unlike Biden, who's getting caught left and right with actual bad things that he's done. Some of it he said on camera, for God's sakes, bragging about it. Back when his side ran the world and he could get away with it. Walter says, the thing is, I don't like Trump, but I'm honest. See, that's all I'm being. I don't like Trump either, by the way. I don't think he's a good man. I wouldn't want to be friends with Donald Trump, but I have no problem with him being my president. No problems, because his vision aligns with mine to some degree. I mean, more so than anybody else. Obama welcomed Trump. Really? Did you actually watch the inauguration, or are you just talking again about something somebody said? Because I remember him getting the cold stink eye, and I also remember Obama humiliating Donald Trump at a press conference dinner where all the press get together. I forget what it's called. It's a little event they do every year where the press comes and roasts everybody. Comedians go and all that stuff. I remember Obama going on late night TV saying, well, at real Donald Trump, at least I was an actual president. Mic drop. You think Obama welcomed Trump? Obama created Trump. Because if you watch that video of him telling Donald Trump, he said, oh, by the way, the moon landing is real and you'll never be president of the United States. And you can see it on Donald Trump's face. That's when he became president. when Obama humiliated him in front of his friends. And you can see it on his face. He didn't like that. And he decided right then, I'm going to take your lunch money and I'm going to use it. And that's exactly what he did. A week later, or a couple of weeks later, he came down the escalators and announced he was running for president, and he won the presidency against all odds, against the entire machine that was against him. He beat every candidate. He beat every news media. He beat every politician. And against all of that flack, he beat every three-letter agency trying to stop him. He beat all the riffraff and became president. And he'll do it again unless they cheat, which they would never do, by the way. It's a 100% fair election. Oh, and I would never kill myself, by the way. The things I don't like Trump, but I'm honest, I read that one. Trump was a chump to Biden. Really. Dana says, I think that Donald Trump will be back in 2024. I think so, too. He is very popular in Europe and in many other countries in the Middle East, almost worldwide. This truly a phenomenon, which is rare. I missed it. In our history. Yes, it is. Andrew Jackson had a very similar effect on people. That was a long time ago. Obama is Satan. He is the great deceiver, says Walter. You're not entirely wrong there. Hillary did not give the White House to Trump. Really? No, she didn't. Because she wasn't in the White House. Obama was in the White House. Obama had to give the White House to Trump, which he did reluctantly, but he didn't like it. Go watch the inauguration. Watch his face. Watch Michelle Obama's face and the Clintons' faces. They did not want to be there, but they did it. Fab Daddy says, yes, our first black president was the destroyer of America. He did a lot to damage it, that's for damn sure. Go Nixon, says Kevin. April says, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Imagine that. Not just the Democrats. Okay, I have and will continue. Okay. Walter says, I have been cursed with an iron trap memory. I don't forget, I remember stealing my little brother's bottles when I was 3. Please don't tell me I got it wrong. I don't think you have. Lisa says, absolutely, Dana. It is so weird. A definite phenom. Although I don't trust anyone in politics. You don't have to trust them. I don't necessarily trust him either. I trust what I see. And I recognize what I see when I see Donald Trump, which is why I voted for him. Because unlike other politicians who are playing things close to the vest and pretending to be something they're not and aligning with think tanks and lobbyists and things like that, I saw Donald Trump as the man that was standing before me, and that's what he purported to be. And I thought that was better than any other politician. That's why I voted for him. And that's why I'll vote for him again. Unless he changes, unless he does something that I see is actually crooked, unless he actually hurts somebody or does something actually evil, then I will continue to believe that and act that way. But if he does those things, I'll change and go to somebody else. I would also equally vote for, what's her name? Her name left me. Tulsi Gabbard. Big difference for me. It's a good thing, says Fab Daddy. Being different from me is a good thing, yeah. April says, LOL Kevin. Walter says, all the charges haven't worked to make Trump back down, and none have stuck. I think he will be shot to keep him out of the White House again. I think you're not that far off. They've done it before. They'll do it again. It's a little harder now than it used to be, though. So I think that may be the only reason he hadn't been shot, because he's so in everybody's face. If he ever takes a vacation, though, he might be had, you know. Fab Daddy says, if we all thought the same, life would be boring. Jake will never admit it if he was wrong. That's not true. You ask anybody in this room to spend any time with me, I often admit when I'm wrong. Here's the difference, though. I believe what I believe because I've done the research. And if I'm wrong, it's not because I'm lying to you. It's because I've genuinely been deceived. And I will fight my position because I believe it. I'll fight it until you show me I'm wrong. The minute you show me I'm wrong, though, I'll back down and admit it and capitulate and change the way that I think. Because I work on facts and evidence, not on feelings and emotions. I have those. I just don't use them to think critically with. I think you have misread me. I will fight my point, but if you prove I'm wrong, I will certainly give it to you. Not only will I give it to you, but I'll alter the way that I think because of it. Walter says, and if he's shot in the head and lives, you got proof the Bible is all true. Well, unfortunately, it won't be him that does that because the Antichrist comes from the Middle East, and it was in the East when they wrote that. So we're talking China. Dana says, Lisa Reen, yes, it is truly a phenomenon in our political history. Very interesting. I am observing this all from the Czech Republic. Daddy says, yeah, Dana. Walter says, Trump commits the sin of pride every day and is proud of it. That is true. That's one of the things I don't like about him, and I could have done with a lot less tweeting. But then again, if he did that, he wouldn't be Donald Trump. So at least he sticks to his guns, which is more than other politicians who bend the knee constantly. Think about that. At least he is stuck to who he is. That says something about a man's character. I don't like it, but I got to respect it. Obama created Trump. Black created white. Okay, has nothing to do with color, dummy. Get your head out of the democracy for a minute. I don't think color. I'm not a racist. Yes, Obama's black. Big deal. He's also partially white. That doesn't matter in the slightest bit. But yes, Obama did create Trump. Night, says Kevin. Good night, buddy. I appreciate you. I'm getting ready to get out of here, too. We're going 49 minutes over. But it's a good conversation, and I'm enjoying it. So thank you, guys. I didn't even do my commercial tonight. Walter says, Fab, not worthy of a response. Right. Those buffoons and Hillary had the disdain of the people. Americans don't believe our government works for us, says Fab Daddy. That's true. And they don't. They work for themselves, which is what most democracies do. Walter Davis says, there was a really good fraud machine in place in the 2016, but it wasn't up to speed against Trump. But they put a brand new turbo race engine in it and had Biden won. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Fab Daddy says, not reluctant. Trump was a jerk to Biden. Go watch it. I don't doubt that a bit. Biden deserves to be jerky, too. He's a moron. Oh, that's right. Trump refused to give up leadership. No, he did not. No, he didn't. You can believe what you want to believe, but who's sitting in the White House? There's the evidence. It was a peaceful transfer of power. Nobody even got in a fight. A lot of things were getting burnt down around the world, but not in the White House. All politicians lie. Trump was a better liar, says Fab Daddy. Well, if you can point to something he said that was not true, I will believe you. And don't point at him bragging about himself, because obviously that's not true. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual factual things. He is crooked. Point to something that he did that was crooked. You mean like not paying taxes? I think you should probably look at those tax records that they finally took away from him, which they don't have the right to do, by the way. They invaded his right to privacy when they did that, they being the government. But now that they're public, maybe you should go read them. And you'll find out that not only did he pay taxes, but he paid more taxes than anyone else in politics and in Hollywood, for that matter. He definitely paid more than you did. So, you know. Walter says, Fab, in all this time, you still haven't given one personal reason why you don't like Trump, which I asked from the beginning. I agree. Jake, you have altered my thought. Have I? That's good. I hope. Fab Daddy says, Walter, I dislike rich assholes. Is that good enough? Yes, that is good enough. That's what I asked from the beginning. Give me one reason why you don't like Trump. He's a rich asshole. I understand that. I don't like Trump either. I don't think he's a good person. I think I've said that like 3 times already. But I think he's the right man to run a country. I think he does better than most people. Trump is the guy that walked by himself without a security service detail across the DMZ and shook the leader's hand that all other presidents have been terrified of and wouldn't even talk to. He walked into their country like a boss and shook his hand and then looked around and then walked back out. They could have killed him and nobody could have done a thing about it. That's balls. Let me see Biden or Obama do that. He also did that in the Saudi Arabia. He went where they were all swinging swords around and you know, fire dancing and such, and he was right there in the middle of it. Let's see Obama do that. He went to Xi Jinping in China and fed his koi fish with him on TV, and you know what they did? They made fun of the way he did it, rather than the fact that he was brokering actual peace with all the other countries. He should have won a Nobel Peace Prize for those things. He didn't. Obama won a Nobel Peace Prize for being black. No other reason. He didn't do anything to deserve it. Walter says, my thoughts are God uses a lot of people, probably all of us. Whatever happens, it is the end of an empire or the end times. It's God's plan, and I'm happy to be here at this moment. I agree with you. Money is the root of all evil. No, Fab Daddy, read your Bible. Come to my Bible study on Sundays and Mondays and listen to what I actually say. Money is not the root of all evil. The Bible clearly stipulates that the love of money is the root of all evil. The root of all evil is greed and ambition and hunger and jealousy, things like that. The love of money. Money itself is a tool. God has no problem. Read Samuel, the first few paragraphs of the book of Samuel. We covered it last Monday. God lifteth up and bringeth down. God maketh poor and he maketh rich. There's nothing wrong with being rich. It's what you do with it that matters. Walter says, Fab, I met a guy in the 80s whose house was paid off from Donald Trump for getting his car running in the middle of the night. Yeah. What about the lady who lives in Trump Tower who squatted in one of his apartments, and when he found out about it, not only did he say let her stay there, but he sends her flowers every day of the year to this day, and she still lives there as a little old black lady. She's been there for like 20 years now, never paid a dime in rent, and nobody has ever spoken about it on public television before. The only reason I know about it is because of on-the-ground interviewers that went and spoke to her. Imagine that. Dana says, Lisa Reen, money is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money. Correct. Walter says, I know a lot of very wealthy people who are going to be upstairs when I'm looking up feeling the heat. Jealousy is a pretty big sin too, Fab. Yeah, it is. It's not unpardonable, though. God himself is a jealous God. So there's some softness in his heart for that. Oh, my God. Dennis Rodman had balls. Did he? Is Dennis Rodman the president of the United States? Or a world leader of any kind? No. He's just a guy who another guy liked enough to not kill. Right. Rodman didn't know it. He didn't know what he was in for. It didn't take balls for him to go over there and hang out in North Korea because he didn't know how bad it was. Because Rodman is a Democrat. Abdaddy says, first black president, you probably hated him. I did hate him. But it had nothing to do with him being black. And you keep pointing that out as if you're going to call me racist in a minute. And when you do, I'm going to pop you in the mouth. I'm not racist. I don't hate anybody, color or otherwise. I do hate actions, though. So please, if you would, stop trying to falsely point out something that isn't there. I've never said a word about him being black, other than the fact that he is. Abdaddy says, envy. Yes, envy. That's part of the root of all evil, the love of money. Dana says, no doubt in my mind, Trump has a lot of guts. Hey, look, I'm caught up. Envy creates greed. Yes, it does. It also creates the desire for somebody else's money, which is what causes evil to happen most of the time. All right. Before I go, would you please do me a favor and check this out? Hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's right in front of you. It's free. It's effortless. It really does help the channel with the algorithm. It helps us get recommended to other people. So won't you do that, please? Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with people you don't love. Go outside of your comfort zone. Bring them into our family. Make them part of the fold, not part of the problem. Leave comments down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid, make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love what I'm doing and you can see the value in what I'm trying to build here and you feel obligated or led, or if you just want to be part of something special and help me keep this thing moving, you can do that. You can support my work by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you're a CashApp user, you can go to $JakeJohnsonBand, and every little bit helps, and I am so grateful for the donations that you give. It helps me keep the lights on and the internet on, and it helps infrastructure around here, and so that I can keep bringing you this fantastic content from all of my lovely, lovely listeners, and I greatly appreciate it. We'll do everything in my power to be worthy of it. And remember that it's a blessing for me, but it's a blessing for you too, because we live in a reciprocal universe and God notices these things. Now, I have a short moment to ask you to go over to rumble.com/UntetheredLive and hit the follow button over there, because on Friday nights, we get to say things there that we can't say here, and it's exciting. You should probably check that out if you're interested. Thank you. And now, we will round out this video. Cheers, everybody that involved in the fight tonight. I love you all, and it was good. Teeth sharpening on both sides. I think we both made some points. I think we both got some jabs in. It's a good fight. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Fab Daddy. Dana says, thank you, Jake. It was a very good show today. I love the conversation. Thank you, Dana. I enjoyed it also. And thank you for being here. If you think this was fun, though, go to Rumble and check out Friday's show, number 7, and see what we said there. That was pretty interesting. It's titled Things That Need to Be Said, and I think you'll enjoy that one if you hadn't seen it. And also, thanks for being here. Fab Daddy says, I expect to be blocked and banned on my way on many a channel after this live conversation. Why? You won't be blocked from this one. Who are you expecting to be blocked from? And if they block you, do you really want to be friends with them anyway? Are they worth your time? I wouldn't capitulate to somebody that would push me out because I had a different opinion. That's not critical thinking. That's groupthink. And groupthink is damaging to the world. So you should feel pretty special to be in a club as diverse as this one. Actual diversity. Diversity of thought. Diversity of opinion. Diversity of personhood. Not, oh, we got more black people than anybody else. Not, we got more gay people than anybody else. Actual diversity. It's pretty special to be here. I hope you enjoy being here. It is a privilege. Walter says, yeah, I'm kind of conservative and I did slum rehab work, a foster parent, and adopted a bunch of kids that keep me from retirement and believe in SNAP cards and welfare and housing. I hear you, buddy. I understand that. That's diverse because that's a whole bunch of different opinions wrapped up together. But they're also necessary for the lifestyle that you live and the things that you do in your life. So, yeah, you would need welfare and that sort of thing, housing. And you got a bunch of kids. But you're also a hero for doing that because not many people, I know I don't have the patience to take somebody else's kids on. So the fact that you do that, you got my vote. April says, much love, everybody. May God bless. Sweet dreams to all. Thank you all. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate you so much, every one of you. Walter says, Fab, my brother, you take care and stay safe. Oh, there's a dog whistle. I think he's threatening you, Fab Daddy. Dog whistle. See what I did there? Fab Daddy says, yes, I do think I'm going to be banned or blocked. From who? Who's going to ban or block you? I love my enemies. Well, they love you too. The Bible told me to, says Fab Daddy. Told you to what? Oh, to love your enemies? Yeah. Turn the other cheek and all that. Fab Daddy says, but I don't need the word to gather insight. I would disagree with that, but to each his own. I do say that you don't have to read the Bible to be a good person. But I think if you want to learn truth, actual truth, you probably do need the word because that Bible says things that no other book says. And it proves it. Walter says, I never took any benefits. Well, if you don't need them, you don't need them. And you shouldn't take them if you don't need them. But if you need them, that's what they're there for. That's why people pay taxes, to take care of people like you. That's what it's for. What it's not for is for somebody to drive around in an Escalade and then get all their groceries paid for. That's not the purpose for taxes. Yet that's what it's used for most of the time. Somebody that's actually raising children to keep them on the planet and to keep them raised in a godly home, that's why people pay taxes. And nobody that I know that has money, and I know lots of rich people, all of them would praise you for that and say, that's exactly why I pay taxes, so that you can exist. And Dana says, I don't love the tyrants. Well, I ain't crazy about it myself. I try to be wiser than the serpent. You know, I try to stay away from people that will hurt me. But conversation is all is fair in love and war, you know. There's no wrong in having a good conversation with people you disagree with. That's what we used to do in college. Have conversations with people we disagreed with so that we could learn to think critically and make good decisions about our knowledge. They don't do that anymore. I wonder why. Hard to control somebody that can see clearly. Hard to control somebody that knows their rights. Hard to control somebody that believes in a higher thing than them. Hard to control somebody that has conviction and truth on their side and can point to facts about the things that they know. Remember that. Maybe you'll be that person. Maybe you are that person. But be that person if you're not. Strive for it. Be the guy who says, oh, you don't believe me? Here's the document. Because I read it, and this is where I got my information from. Have you read it? Be that guy or girl. And with that, I bid you adieu because I do got to get up early in the morning and go to work. I get to see my boy tomorrow, so I'm ready to get through that day and get it done. Anyway, I love you guys. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you on Friday on rumble.com/UntetheredLive. Be there. It's going to be exciting. Have a great night. God bless you all. May peace find you and happiness abound. And may all your dreams come true if they're wise. And may all of you learn to not be a Democrat. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.